Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order and open the roll call.
Goodell.
Here.
Slater.
Here.
Scholl.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Davis.
Here. And we need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Move.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we need a motion to approve the minutes of the April 20th, 2015 regular council meeting.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we need a motion to approve the April investment report.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And lastly, we need a motion to approve the claims for April.
Moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under communications, anything from the public in attendance this evening? This will move us into our first public hearing. This being the time and place for the scheduled public hearing on the bids received for the Humboldt wastewater treatment plant sludge holding tank cover project. I will open the public hearing at 5:32 p.m. Aaron?
The public hearings for the digester lift project. The project is to add a cover to the wastewater plant sludge tank to protect it from freezing in the winter. This freezing and thawing has caused considerable damage to the tank over the years and has caused the tank to be out of use many winters. The tank's important to the process and needs to be protected from the elements. The level of treatment goes down when it's not in operation, so important to keep it operational, not to mention the damage, the cost of replacing damage. Unfortunately, the bids came in considerably higher than what the estimate was. IPT, who completed the water plant, came in at $166,934. Grunman Hicks came in at $124,000 even. So while this is over the $93,000 engineer's estimate, which was higher due to the added coating, that added $10,000 with the interior coating, it's still considerably over that $93,000. But you can see there's two bids. Both of these companies are solid companies. I think that the engineering companies, INS's comment was they believe that they missed on the estimate. They got the numbers from Wells. And I think Wells underestimated the labor cost pretty considerably. They were actually on supplies and the actual precast that came in right where it needed to be, but they missed when they asked for an estimate on the numbers. I don't think you had the curve around the outside.
The outer ring and then the aluminum hatches seemed to be higher than anticipated.
So that's where the cost came back higher. I don't think we're going to get any different numbers if we rebid this. So, you know, unfortunately, we're going to be $30,000 higher than we thought. I think this is probably closer to what we were talking about when we originally talked about this project. We were up in this price range. So, I guess any good feelings we had from saving $30,000 are just unfortunately gone now.
Is it still, do you think the best way to go is a concrete as opposed to something else?
Yeah, we believe so.
Cost-wise and
yes.
stuff? Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, Aaron?
Nope. So they would just recommend awarding the contract to Grumman Hicks in with the resolution that follows.
Do you have any comments from the council?
No. Oh. No other comments.
Thanks, Gloria.
Yeah.
No written comments or objections yet.
Right, correct.
Do we have any comments or objections from the general public in attendance this evening? There being no more comments or objections on the bids received for the Humboldt wastewater treatment plant sludge holding tank cover project, I will close the public hearing at 5:35 p.m. We'll open up the next public hearing. This being the time and place for the scheduled public hearing on the vacation of a parcel of land located in the Landover Land, 2nd edition, to the city of Humboldt County, Iowa. I will open the public hearing at 5:36 p.m.
This public hearing is to vacate and convey the parcel of land on Highway 169 to Mitchford Olson for the construction of a new commercial building. This land was included in the plat as a potential road for the separation of the lots into 3 lots with street access, actually highway access. It was only platted like this for a brief time, and I'd recommend the transfer because it was an unusual circumstance. The lots will now be joined for one use, and so there's absolutely no reason to have a street in the front. The cost of putting in the street, maintaining the street, it just doesn't make sense. That can be used as parking for that larger facility and less headache for the city. So, like I said, I think we went through this planning process maybe about 2 years ago, and the only reason it was put there was just for this purpose. You'll see later on in the meeting where we're actually pulling the resolution. It's kind of a weird situation. We went through a conversation with Eric, and he recommended that these all go through by ordinance now, rather than by resolution, so we'll have 3 readings on the vacation. So, to give us time to get that on the agenda, that was removed from the agenda.
Does a water line, how far north does that go? Is that go to past Red Power? That goes up to there.
Yeah.
Sewer goes all the way up to
Sewer
To
only
the
goes
loading?
to the lift.
the lift station.
Goes to the lift station,
Right.
and then it crosses over, and I think it carries all the way through on the Humboldt business property, but it doesn't go all the way through.
Needs to be on the road.
So, it's accessible right to the, it's not all the way through those lots, because I think we only brought it to the lift station.
So it's a normal sewer we'll be looking on then, not, he'll be on this side,
Right.
not the lift station.
Yeah, he's
side.
way, he's south of the trail,
Right.
so
Right.
that'll be,
Yes.
Right, just some normal, yeah.
it'd just be normal trail.
That sewer crosses under 169 at the lift station, correct?
Yes, it comes across and then feeds Humboldt Business Park right
Right.
at that point. Yep.
Right.
That was poured across.
Do we have any written comments or objections on file?
No, we don't.
Do we have any comments or objections from the general public in attendance this evening? There being no more comments or objections on the vacation parcel of land located in the Landover Land, Second Edition, to the city of Humboldt, Humboldt County, Iowa, we'll close the public hearing at 5:38 p.m. Under new business, we have with us tonight the Iowa Flood Center. We're going to do a presentation including an overview of flood inundation maps developed for Humboldt and instructions for access.
You guys want to give me a second here, that he's gonna stand at the end here, use the computer.
And you are,
Sorry. My name is Daniel Gillis, and I'm a water resources engineer with the Iowa Flood Center. And I'm joined by Dr. Nathan Young, who's the co-director of the Iowa Flood Center.
Give me a rundown of what the Iowa Flood Center is for a quick second. Is this a state deal, federal deal? Is this a
So
private
this
deal?
is a state-funded research center at the University of Iowa. And it was formed after the 2008 flood. In Iowa City, we came to realize that there was kind of a lack of information when we were receiving that flood. And so what we do is we study the physics of flooding in terms of kind of watershed behavior, and then also kind of river hydraulics, and there's groups within there that study things like radar, rainfall, and remote sensing. We have developed our own sensors for detecting rainfall and also river stage. And then all of this information kind of comes together on our website. And part of this work, this was done free of charge for the city of Humboldt. So here's our website. All of this is publicly available information. It's on iowafloodcenter.org. So there, on here you can read more about the organization and then some of the projects we're involved with, and then some of the people and other things that are involved with the project. So all the information comes together in what we call IFIS. So the different research groups publish all of their data in this one place. And IFIS stands for Iowa Flood Information System. And you can get to that by clicking on this link here. I froze our internet perhaps.
This would give like river readings at all times and stuff for us to look at then, as opposed to like looking at dam heights and stuff then, or this would be like current information all the time, we could look at
Yes.
during flooding times and stuff then?
Yeah, so this website is meant to be a resource for communities during flooding events and emergency managers. We'll see if we can restart this browser. Let's see. So what we do on here, as well as publishing our own data, we will take data from like the USGS and the National Weather Service and kind of put it all in one place to make it easier for people to see it. Try this again. So I mainly work on the mostly deal with hydraulic modeling, so I make things like flood maps, and also go out and conduct bathymetry surveys. So last year we were here and we surveyed the riverbed upstream of the dam in our little John boat. So basically we have a single beam echo sounder, which is basically just a depth finder on the boat, and then it is it's also, we have a GPS unit directly above the sensor, and then we're keeping track of the position of our GPS unit along with all of the depths measurements. So we can go through and use that data as part of our making our hydraulic model that ultimately we will make these flood maps with.
But didn't get stuck on your boat driving around?
No, because that's just I asked you, Daniel,
Afraid you got floated.
what was the time frame that you did this? Because last year probably was an exceptionally high river because of all the rain that we received. So I mean, so
It's a bit early or late, yeah.
So I think we did this. I'm probably confusing. We made a trip to Fort Dodge also and surveyed there, but it was very shallow.
at that time.
Yeah, I think it was probably during the spring, early spring of last
Sure.
year. Let's see, was it 2 years ago? It's been so long. But anyways, upstream of the dam, yes, there's quite a bit of sand there, and I think we should have walked across. But we took the little John boat, and it doesn't have much draft to it, so we're able to kind of get into some areas that you might not normally with a bigger boat. And then downstream of the dam, we used inflatable kayaks to survey. Okay, so we'll dig in. So this is the launch page for the Iowa Flood Information System. You can go straight to either inundation maps or flood warnings or some of our sensors through this page. It froze up on me again. Bypass that. We'll go straight to the maps before it freezes on me again. And this might be just the developer for our information system puts a lot of effort into the system working on different internet browsers, so maybe you need to run updates on this browser on the computer. I think it might be running a little slow. He tries to use kind of the most up-to-date HTML coding and different tools that are available. So this is available in Google Maps interface, so it's kind of the same control that will work with this. So we'll go straight into Humboldt here. So all of these communities are ones that we have made inundation map libraries for, these non-regulatory map sets. So I just clicked on Humboldt, and you can see there's this red outline. So what that is it's the watershed boundary of the West Fork. So any rainfall that lands within that outline will ultimately drain through Humboldt. So when you're looking at rainfall data, this is kind of the area that you should only really be concerned about, besides flash flooding, of course. But any rainfall that lands within there will ultimately come through Humboldt. You might experience some river flooding. So we can, let's just go straight to the maps, and maybe I'll show you some other features if we get through the maps, okay. So like I was saying before, we go through and collect bathymetry measurements, and then we make this hydraulic model. And so this hydraulic model is useful because we can take it and kind of crank through all of these different flow situations. So a lot of times the National Weather Service will make forecasts at river gauges, and like the one that you have in Humboldt. So they might say that your river gauge is going to reach a stage of, let's see, maybe 12 feet or so. So what you can do is you can go in here and change the slider and drag it to that river stage, and it has an associated flow, which you'll see there on the right-hand side on that menu. And it's, so let's go to 12 feet. Almost 12. There's 12 feet. So at 12 feet of river stage, the flow is approximately 12,000 cubic feet per second. So we took that flow and put it in our hydraulic model, and then it generated this map. So you can zoom in further, and it will load in an aerial photo from Google Maps. So you can kind of see areas that will be inundated. So Humboldt is lucky in that there isn't much action until you get really high. There are some cities that are built in very flat floodplains. You'll start to see quite a bit of flooding once it gets into some intermediate flows. But you'll start to see if I crank up the flow even higher, I'm sure. This hopefully lines up with some of the flooding that you guys have experienced here. You might have it come down the mill race there, maybe get backed up further upstream with the dam. And also it looked like it maybe short circuits through here during times of high flooding. So all this is, yeah, and I think maybe you got in 1960, I think I saw maybe 18,000 CFS or something.
53.